Hey, and welcome to the Charlotte Content Marketing Podcast. My name is Andrew Rusnak. I'm the founder of Charlotte Content Marketing. Today, we're going to talk about model collapse and what that is and what that means for you, what that means for me, what that means for the internet. So that's going to be an interesting discussion. But before we get into that, something happened to me personally over the weekend. By the way, Happy New Year. It is now 2024. We've gotten through 2023, and now we're into 2024. So Happy New Year! Fantastic. And that actually is going to kind of tie into model collapse and what we're gonna cover there. But so something interesting happened to me the other day over this past weekend. And technically on into today. So I do these videos. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, make sure to check us out on YouTube so you can see my smiling face. And if you're on YouTube, check us out on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and wherever you get your podcasts. But so I do these videos from time to time, and my name is associated with them. My name is associated with my company, Charlotte Content Marketing, Andrew Rusnak, all that. So you can find me on the internet. Well, I received an email from an old friend of mine. His name is Ben. He's the owner of Oak Nichols Engineering. They're a structural engineering firm out of Raleigh. So check them out if you get a chance. I believe the URL is oaknichols.com. And they do, really cool work and stuff that I can't wrap my head around. I'm terrible at math, so I would never be able to do that. But what they do is really cool. But anyway, so Ben and I go way back. I'm talking like fourth grade. I met Ben. So shout out to Ben if you're watching. But I met Ben in the fourth grade. He was new in school. He had just moved from Michigan, and he and I became fast friends, and we remained friends. Really all through, I guess, into high school. I had moved away, but we still kept in touch, and we still saw each other through middle school. We went down to the beach and stuff every summer, and so we were very close. But then, obviously we drifted apart, just as people do over time. Once Facebook came around, we were able to reconnect a little bit, but that's not quite the same. And as you get older and you have a family and career and kids and all kinds of things like that come into play. But the whole point is, he looked me up and he found some of these videos. He found this podcast on YouTube, and he watched some videos and he reached out to me, and we got to chat a little bit through email, and we're actually going to be talking about possibly doing some work with his firm. But the whole point is that I'm always talking about relationships when it comes to content marketing. I'm always preaching about how content marketing is all about relationships. At Charlotte Content Marketing, our tagline is building, fostering, furthering, and that's all about relationships. And the reason I bring that up is this was just a great reminder for me to realize that when it comes to marketing, a lot of times you get lost in like the KPIs, your key performance indicators, and the ROI and stuff, and we get into the analytics and the metrics, and we're looking at numbers and trying to assign a value to this particular action and this particular action and all that. But what I find more often than not is that it is very difficult at times to quantify and qualify the actions that you take when it comes to content marketing, just because you don't know when and where a piece of content is going to make a connection. Now, based on experience, based on research, we can have a pretty solid direction to head in as to, so we're going to research, your customers and what they're into and where they're more likely to be found on the internet. Where do they spend their time? What are their interests, and how can we get our content in front of them in those places? But you don't necessarily know when those connections will happen. And this was just a reminder to me that, I put these videos out, and I put them out for anybody to come across. But if you're looking up information about content marketing or marketing for small business or medium-sized businesses in the Charlotte area or whatever, um, the goal is to have you find this podcast, to find these videos, to find this audio, and to engage with it. And so here was a situation in which my name was associated with it, and someone was searching for my name. They found these videos, and we were able to engage and interact in that sense. So it's just a reminder to me as well, but also to you, that the content that you put out and the content that you put out can form relationships and make connections unexpectedly, but also it can continue to make relationships. So if you put out a piece of content and it's hosted on your website, or you put out a video like this and it's on YouTube, 6 months from now, someone may find it. A year from now, someone may find it, and they find it helpful, and they reach out to your business at that point in time. So it's not like putting out an ad on Facebook or Google or something like that, and you run an ad campaign for a week or two, and you're hoping to get those clicks immediately within that time frame. No, it's more a slow burn approach, but it's an investment. And so once again, it's just an interesting reminder about the power of content marketing and how it can foster those relationships. So what is model collapse? Well, to back up for a second, so there was a story that I came across in Fast Company. Fast Company is a website, but it's sort of like an online magazine. And so it was about how, all right, I got to think about how to phrase this now because we got name changes and stuff. So Twitter is now X. So I'm going to refer to Twitter as X, but if I mess up and call it Twitter, you know what I'm talking about. So ChatGPT, when people talk about AI, a lot of times they're just talking about ChatGPT, but AI technologies and transformer technologies are actually in a lot of different things and used in a lot of different things. But OpenAI came out with ChatGPT last year. It was actually about a year ago now, in I think late 2022, early 2023. ChatGPT hits the scene. X, Elon Musk, they came out with their own AI solution called Grok, Grok. So it's their answer to ChatGPT. And it's a chat bot, and you can ask it questions and interact with it and stuff like that. So this Fast Company article said that there was a guy who used Grok, and he asked it to make some malicious software or something like that. And these AI chatbots are basically programmed with safeguards in place so that they're not going to do that. However, in this case, it didn't just say I can't do that. It said that it's against OpenAI's protocols or whatever to let me do that. So what's happening here is we have Grok, which is not ChatGPT and is not an OpenAI product. It's an X product, but it's saying that it cannot do so because of OpenAI's programming, the safeguards that they put in there. Well, so we have to ask, why would Grok be speaking as OpenAI or ChatGPT, right? And what seems to be happening here is what's called model collapse. So these AI models, large language models, LLMs, they train on huge volumes of data, all right? And so what seems to have happened is that Grok was trained on a whole bunch of data out there on the internet that included stuff that was left in from ChatGPT. So what's happening here, to try to simplify this, is these large language models will eventually collapse in on themselves because, and I said this, I think it was February of last year, February of 2023, and I'd have to go back and look, but we've got a blog post on the Charlotte Content Marketing website where I talked specifically about this happening. And now it's coming to fruition, it seems, and it's only going to get worse. But if you have models trained on data from other models, it creates a feedback loop, and that's going to collapse these large language models. There's never going to be new input, and the existing input is regurgitated input. And the thinking is that the information will degrade over time because now you just have bots talking to bots. And that will just degrade the performance of AI, I would assume, exponentially down the line as new iterations of training data get fed in, and then they spit out more training data, which then gets fed back in, and so on and so forth until there's no original content. So what we may be facing in that situation, and look, I have nothing against AI, or what we call AI. We can get into a debate about whether it's actually AI or not. I don't think it is, but that's a discussion for another day. But so we can have a situation where the internet itself collapses if everyone is just relying on AI content. And there's never going to be any new content because it's just going to be AI feeding off of AI feeding off of AI. So that can be a real danger when it comes to information, when it comes to the integrity of information, when it comes to the integrity of data. So that is something to be aware of if you're using AI, ChatGPT, for anything with your business and anything that you're putting out there publicly, any kind of customer-facing stuff, any kind of sensitive work that you're doing at your business. Just be careful, because there are all these hidden spider minds in there. And if you ever played StarCraft 2, you know what I'm talking about when I say spider minds. But there are all these hidden little time bombs, all these little dangers and missteps and pitfalls that can belie. So I would just urge you once again, if you're going to use any kind of AI software to write anything or create anything, be very cautious. Take the time to proofread and edit and make it your own. And that also leads me to, so in 2024, this year, I think that what we're seeing is authenticity is going to continue to play a huge role in content. And I think personally, it's going to play an even bigger role than it has in the past, particularly when it comes to search engine optimization. Search engines are looking for that expertise, experience, authority, and trustworthiness more than ever now. And Google's been making all kinds of algorithm adjustments and things like that over the past 6 months or so. They've been coming out with updates, and we've been seeing a lot of volatility in rank, and all kinds of things have been going on behind the scenes. And I think that it all has to do with Google trying to get out ahead of this, which they've really kind of not done the greatest job in the world of doing. I feel like they've been trying to play catch up really for the past year. But I'm what we're seeing and what I'm thinking are that authenticity is going to be the thing that rules the day in 2024 and probably beyond. I mean, there's no way to know day to day and week to week with some of this kind of stuff. We just kind of have to play it by ear and rely on our experience and also go with what we're seeing at the moment and be ready to make adjustments. And it's always good to be flexible in your content strategy anyway, to take advantage of new opportunities and things like that. So with that said, Happy New Year. Happy 2024. and we have had a great 2023. And I once again, I would love to do more of these more often. But because we have been so busy lately, and we're very grateful for that, we're very thankful for all of our clients and all of the relationships that we've been able to form over the past year. We're really looking forward to much more of that in 2024. So thank you so much again for tuning in. If you want to get in touch with Charlotte Content Marketing, you can obviously visit us at charlottecontentmarketing.com. You can email us at hello@charlottecontentmarketing.com. You can also find us on socials, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, obviously here on YouTube, Instagram, even though we don't update that nearly as much as we should, but we'd love to have you connected on there as well. And you can give us a call if you would like, 704-323-6762. And we're more than happy to chat with you about anything that you've got going on. And if you're looking for content marketing guidance, we're happy to provide that as well. So thank you again for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.